All right, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings unto the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. This is Brother Taza Pie here with your daily lunch special, and today we'll be serving up some Qid Pro Quo, all right? And so you can understand in layman's terms, you wash my back, I'll wash yours. And this is pursuing to the 20 billion that went to Argentina. All right, now I misreported. That was Tuesday's lesson. All right, and I was going in on the EBT situation and how they are currently. Well, they just neglecting the taxpayers that was on the welfare system for both housing and for food. All right, for groceries, whatnot. So they are canceling these programs as of now. All right, they'll be back, but they'll be back digitally. But what I had mentioned in the video is that it's really messed up that they had this 20 billion that they're sending, and I said Venezuela, all right? It was not Venezuela, it's Argentina. And on top of that, it's another 20. On top of that 20, so in total, it's 40 billion. And I got Jimmy Dore here breaking it all down. I can't play the entire video, but you do need to see this entire video if you want to know where your tax dollars are going and why you can't afford to eat. All right, because I it's just too long to go into, and then we're here to give you the scriptures anyway, so do your own legwork and just watch the video. All right, because there's a few moving parts, but the bottom line is it's a bailout. All right, that's the bottom line. The now 40 billion that's being sent to Argentina to bail them out is to bail out some of Trump's. Well, it may not even be Trump's, but some people in his cabinet. It's a bailout. All right, and I don't know. I just watched the video, all right, as I'm working, so I ain't just properly digested it yet. And that's why, another reason why I'm not going to just go deep into it. But, all right, this is a kickback, a payout, a bailout, all right? And so I'm here, Sirach chapter 10, chapter 12, verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy. All right, and that's for all y'all who was on that welfare abusing it. You trusted your enemy in that. All right, because you should have said, okay, I'm getting this. All right, but I know how this government is. Let me get on my feet. While I have the assistance, let me get myself in a better situation to get from under the thumb of my captor, my enemy. All right, and again, it's like I mentioned in the video Tuesday. A woman won't completely submit herself to you for fear of, he might just up and leave. But why don't y'all apply that same logic to your government? All right, which is going up and leave. Or they, to put it more accurately, they're not going up and leave, but they're going to require all that you have in order for you for them to continue to support you. This is why Klaus Schwab said, you will own nothing and be happy, because if you want to continue into where they're taking society, then you must give up everything, including human rights and dignity. Okay? If you want to eat, if you want to get your medical care, dental care, whatever, they're going to require you to unass everything and join them in their digital world. All right? So, right, as Sirach says, chapter 12, verse 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Yeah. Iron is going to rust. Just left alone, sooner or later, it's going to rust. You have to take care of it, not to rust. All right? And the only one that can take care of Esau is the Most High, and he's not taking care of that devil. He's letting him rust. That's why Romans chapter 9, it says, only he who now letteth will let. All right? Meaning the Most High is allowing this. All right? It ain't like, you know, he's above, reforming Esau is above his powers. It's not. It's just that's his purpose to be the wicked. That's why he's here. To put you through hell, put you in straits, and for us to regain our character back. Righteous character. All right? This is Esau's what he's here for. But some people going to go with the program. They're not going to be reformed through the evils and through the wickedness, through the trials and tribulations. But they'll have to be reformed by the fire of the nuclear missiles. But verse 11 says, though he humble himself and go crouching, remember Trump, oh, we don't need to be in all these wars. Oh, just vote for me. I'm going to fix all of this shit. All right? Yeah, I know what they did over there. I know what they're doing over here. I know all this shit. And we're going to fix this shit. All right? He came humble, crouching. Now look at him. Is he crouching now? No, his head is in the stratosphere. All right? Yeah, this man is on, Jake say he on one. You know, that's the saying, I'm on one. Shit, Trump on 100. All right, and yeah. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Right. When you examine this man with scrutiny, all right, as though looking through a looking glass, you see he's evil as evil can be. Okay? All people don't want to examine this man with scrutiny. They want to look at the good he's done, the little good that he's done, the little bit, and then they want to ignore the elephant in the room. It's like Yahweh Shah said, they'll strain at a gnat and swallow an elephant. All right? Which is all the wickedness that these people have done. All right? And they can look over that, you know, all of the things. And they don't even know half of the stuff. And really, we probably don't even know half of the stuff this man has done. You know? But we know what he's capable of. We do know that he's evil as all get out. And we're holding him accountable. A lot of the 2/3 of our people, they want to look the other way. Life is good for them. Or whatever the case may be. But listen to Jimmy break some of this down.
Why is the U.S., under President Trump, who, of course, has put forward this America First mandate, so invested in Argentina and its economy?
It's a real mystery to an awful lot. Why would Trump be giving $40 billion to Argentina, which we don't do barely any trading with them? What? And this guy says, well, it's a mystery.
Is it?
It is not a mystery. I have the answer. Donald Trump originally he was going to give $20 billion to Argentina, and now it's $40 billion.
Oh,
and
good God.
It's kind of ironic because we put sanctions on socialist countries like Cuba and Venezuela to try to crush their economy, and then we have to give billions and billions of dollars to bail out what we consider to be libertarian capitalist economies. Isn't that weird? Or else they're going to completely just crumble. Wait a minute. I thought how that seems to be contradictory. I thought socialism was the bad thing and capitalism always wins, but it can't win without a bailout from the United States. And wait till you find out exactly why Donald Trump is giving this bailout. It will piss you off.
It has, yes.
Yes. So Trump Secretary Scott Bessent just doubled the bailout of Argentina's Javier Milei to $40 billion. U.S. taxpayers are paying heavily for the failures of a foreign con man who's decimated his country's currency, sold off its assets, and fronted for 3 massive meme coin rug pulls. This is really happening.
3?
Yes.
He did 3 rug pulls.
Yes.
That's more than Hawk Tuah, Jimmy.
Yes, U.S. could double the aid for Argentina to $40 billion, according to media. So let's listen to this media report.
There are media outlets reporting that Scott Bessent, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, has outlined financial aid to that country that would total $40 billion. For more, let's bring in Bloomberg's Mike McKee. Mike, from what we understand, are there conditions tied to this? Are there strings attached to up to $40 billion of aid from the United States to Argentina?
No. I'm just going to, spoiler alert, there's nothing. So this money is gone. So as soon as this $40 billion goes out the door, it's gone. We're never getting it back, ever. And Trump knows this. And so does everybody. If I know it, that means everybody. Because that's the whole point of this show. If I can figure it out, you know they know it. So let's hear what he says.
Well, the administration hasn't made a whole lot clear about any of this yet, Scarlett. We don't even know about the original $20 billion, whether it's a true swap line where they give us pesos and we lend them dollars and then we exchange them back eventually. And now Scott Bessent is talking about a $20 billion private fund made up of individual investors, and he says sovereign wealth funds that would be interested in buying Argentine debt or making investments in Argentina.
So the first $20 billion comes directly from the U.S. Treasury. We print it. We send it to Argentina. Why can't I say that name of that country today? Argentina. As opposed to sending, $20 billion to Detroit or to California or Texas or Florida or anywhere. We just send it to another country. Again, just like we've been doing forever. We don't send money to our own country to fix our country. We send money to other countries. Why? You're going to find out in a second. So the first $20 billion coming right from the U.S. government, meaning you. The second $20 billion is going to come from private investor, like private banks and stuff like that, but only on the condition that the U.S. government backs it up, meaning when they don't get their money back, which they're not going to, the United States will then give those bankers the $20 billion that they gave Argentina. That's what's hacks. So when they say, well, we're going to get private funding for the second $20 billion, they're only going to get it because the United States government is going to give them their money back when that money goes down a sewer. Because that's exactly what's happening. So just so you know, so the United States is basically giving them $40 billion, not 20, but $40 billion. And so what this is on the off chance that Argentina pays back that $20 billion to those private investors, they get to keep the profits because they're not giving them the money for free. Of course, there's interest and all that stuff. So they have to pay that money back with interest. So they get profits from giving them that money, meaning the private banks. But if they lose, if Argentina doesn't pay back that money, which they're not going to, they also don't lose. How could that be? Because the United States government is going to give them that money. So this is how capitalism works if you're a super wealthy bank. You privatize all the gains and you then socialize the losses, just like during the 2008 banking crash. They got to...
Exactly. He hit the nail on the head. And that's why, that whole slogan, too big to fail. All right, think about that. And I called that out back in 2010, 2011. I said that's not true capitalism. All right, because true capitalism is, you could come up with an idea, you market it, present it to the people to sell, they buy. And if they don't buy, then you change business. Or but you're gonna lose a little money, but you have to do something different. Or either change your product or just go in a whole different line of business. All right? That's the way capitalism should work. All right? So, in other words, you got good business ideas, good business strategies, a good product, and the people want it, and you succeed. All right? That's beautiful. Lead a man alone. All right? But that's not what government does it? But on the other hand, all right, if this is bad business practices, your product ain't the best, or it might be horrible, and the people don't want it, then you get the fuck out of here. Bye. Nobody want that shit. But you see what I'm saying? You go under, you go out of business. That's capitalism. Money talks, bullshit walks. All right? But what did they do at the bail-in? Oh, well, see, they too big to fail. We need to bail them out. So what he's saying is exactly how the rich get richer and we keep going deeper and deeper in debt. Okay? Because when they win, they win. And when they lose, we lose. We cover those losses. But yet you see none of the profits. Some of y'all ain't even had a raise in years. But you have to, and you hear about these CEOs and all of this, they getting these big payouts and all of this. See, this is what a lot of this is going on behind closed doors. All right, quid pro quo. And that's, I'll wash your back, you wash mine.
Take all the money that they made through that through that scheme where they turned banks into casinos, and then when the market crashed, they didn't have to pay any of the losses. The government came in and gave them money, so they privatized.
Gave them taxpayer money, your money, that should be fixing these roads. All right. Going to, your safety and wherever you stay. All right? For lights, police, or whatever, to make your day brighter. But as we see, it's getting darker by the day. And that's just the times that we're living in, is we're in judgment.
This is just how crony capitalism works. This is end stage capitalism. What you're seeing is they privatize the profits and they socialize the losses. So you don't get to do that. If you make an investment, if you open up a hot dog stand and it crashes, the government doesn't give you the money that you lost. No, but it will if you're super rich bank. It will, and that's exactly what's happening here. Okay, back to this.
That's all we know at this point. And of course, the idea of somebody spending $20 billion to buy bonds in Argentina, given Argentina's track record of paying it back, they already owe billions, tens of billions to the IMF, seems a little fanciful. So we're not exactly sure.
Yeah, the reason why they're willing to do that is because Trump said the government is going to give you that money that you're about to lose. Because they have a $60 billion debt with the IMF, Argentina does. They're not paying that back. They're not paying this back. And why do you think Trump is doing this? Well, hang on.
Sure how all of this is going to work.
And I'm so glad you bring up Argentina's track record of paying back loans, or perhaps its spotty track record here. Why is the U.S., under President Trump, who, of course, has put forward this America First mandate, so invested in Argentina and its economy?
It's a real mystery to an awful lot.
Why would Trump be giving $40 billion to Argentina, which we don't do barely any trading with them? What? And this guy says, well, it's a mystery.
Is it?
It is not a mystery. I have the answer. So I know more about this than Mr. Bloomberg does. But let's listen to the rest of his story.
Of people because
Let's listen to the rest of his answer.
it's a real mystery to an awful lot of people because the Argentines have had a very bad track record, as you note, in paying back loans. They've defaulted any number of times, and there's some thought that they're not on the right path right now. They've got an election coming up, and if President Milei's party doesn't get a big enough vote in the legislative elections, then he's not going to be able to push through his reforms. And the president says, that, of course, then we're not going to give him any aid at all. That sent the peso back lower, and the U.S. intervened in currency markets again today, Scott Besson said. But why? That's a really good question. A lot of Americans are asking that question, particularly farmers, because China's been buying Argentine soybeans instead of U.S. soybeans, and that's one of the reasons the soybean farmers are in trouble. So we don't really know. There's some speculation that what's happened is a lot of U.S. hedge fund managers who are friends with Scott Besson bought up Argentine debt on the cheap, anticipating...
Oh, it turns out he does know. It turns out he does know why Trump is doing this. Because there's lots of billionaire hedge fund managers that are friends with Scott Bessent. Remember, Scott Bessent was George Soros' right-hand man. Scott Bessent, Trump's Secretary of the Treasury, was George Soros' right-hand man, and it's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah.
So he knows why Trump is doing this, so he can bail out his hedge fund billionaires' friends who are right-hand men with George Soros. It's a big club, so let's listen. So he does know.
And that's it in a nutshell. All right? That's a bailout. That $40 billion is a bailout for bad investments in hedge funds. All right? For privileged folk. All right? And we're going to go out here, because we're not the privileged folk. And like he said, your lemonade stand where he said hot dog, all right? Hot dog, lemonade, whatever. It go under. Shit, and see you. They ain't concerned about you. See, but yeah, like George Carlin said, yeah, it's one big club and you ain't in it. When you in the club, you get the privileges of the club, all right? So this is Isaiah 10:1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness, which they have prescribed. All right, and that's talking about all of these laws on the books that they got, on the side, waiting and ready to go for their Hegelian dialectic. As soon as the Hegelian dialectic is fulfilled, problem, reaction, then the solution is these unrighteous decrees and the grievousness, which was prescribed, all right, forewritten. Okay? Verse 2, and here's the part. To turn aside the needy, the children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and you Native Americans predominantly, all right? We are the needy. What you don't need, all right? So even you got money in the bank, you still need shit because these bills come every month. So you just can't, just depend on your money in the bank. You want that to grow. You really don't want to touch it. It might be for a rainy day. You might be saving up for a business or whatever. You don't really want to touch it, but you have needs, all right? So even just because you got money don't mean you're not needy, all right? We need a lot of shit, all right? Man, we need food. Ain't y'all up in arms over the EBT? Well, y'all need food. Some of y'all gonna need some housing here real soon. That's why they got the concentration camps and whatnot for you. Are they ready for you? All right, because they know your black asses, your brown and yellow, red asses are needy. So they got the MOTB waiting for you. They got housing waiting for you and all the food. Well, you ain't gonna get it. You big backs, y'all gonna lose some weight, all right? Like y'all should have been doing. Government gonna put you on a diet, all right? The government putting all big Shirleys on a diet. But we are the needy. To turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, right? How you gonna send money all, it's America last. All that MAGA, that ain't, no. Shit, the MAGA is, make all my friends great again. Because that's what Trump is doing. He's helping out the tech giants, and the bankers getting bailouts still. That ain't even in. It's one thing if you in the U.S., but they ain't even in the, money going outside the U.S. While y'all sitting here talking about you going to start stealing and doing this and that. That's what I said, because y'all sit there and you put your trust in this man. Now you talking about committing illegal acts. If you wouldn't have trusted in your government and put your trust in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, then you can make a video saying, I'm going to call on the Lord. I'm not worried about them, what they doing. I'm going to call on the Lord. But see, no, that ain't on a nigga mind. The Lord is not on a nigga mind. And that's why y'all about to find out. All right? Y'all ain't on the Lord's mind either. I think I went into that yesterday with Hosea 4:6. The Lord said, you should be no priest to me, because you have forgotten the law. He said, I'm going to forget you and your children. That's what the Lord said. He ain't thinking about you. All right, so that's it right there. I just wanted to get that info out for correction, and that's trifling, man. This government is truly rogue and trifling. All right? But to the next one, Shalom.